"Rah, did you see what he said?" Because you can hear the person, and oh no, he's gonna do. Oh, he picked it up like this, and you're thinking, "I'm right here. I can hear. So can everybody else. You're not on your own."
Yeah. Thanks for doing the podcast. I remember the last time we seen each other was on my show on Channel 4.
Show, yeah, that was
yourself.
Funny.
I think who else was on that show that day? We had AJ Dudu. We had Sam Ryder on the show as well. Yeah. And we were doing your nunchucks and stuff as well.
Yes. Was that in the final? I don't think it was in the final edit.
I don't think we made it.
It wasn't into the final edit.
Because you know what used to be interesting when we done the show? We'd cram in so much. And then by the time in the editor would be like, we've probably got too much. So we're going to keep this. We're going to take that out. And I was just like, if only it was the days of doing shows in the 2000s where you have your extra show. Do you remember those? Where you have one show and your extra... Whereas now, like, it all kind of goes on YouTube, and I just feel like it gets a bit lost.
Oh, yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Crammed.
It's just like, it's there for a week and then it's just there forever.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
Gone. I heard that YouTube figures for YouTube now passed the streaming services.
Oh, wow.
So terrestrial got left behind, then it was streaming services, and now YouTube just pipped them in terms of viewing figures.
It makes sense,
which is
though,
weird.
Because, you know, like with YouTube, and I was saying this to another guest recently, where I would just put something on when I'm cooking. And I'm not really watching it, but I'm listening to it.
That's the thing.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Like
even music now, the playlists on YouTube. Listen, man, if you want an old school Motown playlist, you can find it on YouTube. Whereas, if you have your streaming apps, you got the track and the next track.
I like to do that. Maybe I'm a control freak. I like to just lay it all up and I go, oh, yeah, I can sing along to this. I know this. I remember those memories.
Yeah.
And I do it via Apple or something else. But when we're creating content for the screen, you can sometimes get asked to second screen it.
Yeah.
Which means you have to add less subtlety and you have to repeat things in the program. So repeat the plot, repeat the danger, have characters state what they want.
Yeah.
Because people are second screening it, as in their primary screen is in their hand and they're just flicking up and looking at the stuff you've made.
Yeah.
Which is such a shame.
I know. I'm definitely a second screener. The amount of times I'll watch something and I've got another screen in my hand but it's normally with programs that I don't have the real attention span for. Like, I'm guilty of watching some trash TV, some reality TV, and I'll watch it, but I'm really checking out maybe some holidays. Yeah, and I'm looking, I'm like, and I'm in and I'm out, but it's dangerous, man, because you can watch something and before you know it, you're like, okay, cool, I've just booked the holiday. Not really focusing on how much this really is, but do you know what I mean? It's very dangerous.
So that the adverts and content and people selling you things, it's constructed in a way that they think you're only going to read the headline and not actually look at the quality of the material underneath. So there's loads of filmmakers learning about cuts and edits and you know slowing down, whatever the effect they want to do, and they're thinking of people who are committed in the dark, focused only on your material, so you can really move people or make them think or show them something new. But then when you get asked to second screen it, it's just like, no, we don't want any of that. We don't want people to have to really think. We just want them to be able to just flick up and go, oh, yeah, and laugh or whatever.
Yeah.
And it affects the whole form.
Yeah. I didn't know you was a Brummie boy. I didn't know you're from Birmingham. Because you've lost your accent, man. You lost your Brummie accent, man.
This is the thing. I don't think...
Now it came out just there, you know?
The Brummie accent, it came out. But it's because I can hear my Brummie accent anyway. And it's not as strong as my family who still live there. But a lot of people think they're going to hear Black Country. They think they're going to hear like that. It's going to be like this.
Yeah, man.
But people don't talk like that in the centre of Birmingham.
That's not they don't. Their accent is not strong at all.
It's flatter. Plus, whenever I went home from school, I didn't hear the Birmingham accent.
Yeah.
I'm not like the kids who would go home and hear it from their parents and their grandparents.
Yeah.
Nah. I only heard it at school or with my associated friends. So it's not like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah. And because you was in your church choir as well, St. Chad's Cathedral. Was that where you got your first love for wanting to perform? Because the reason why I ask, because I go to church and when I go to church, one thing I love is when I see the young kids at church, and normally at the end of church, they all kind of get up and start dancing to some of the tracks and some of the songs. And, you know, I look at the people in the band who perform, and it's interesting with faith because it doesn't, I guess it's just like I go to church and I play the drum kit and I'm in the band, but it's kind of my religion and I enjoy doing it, as opposed to when you do it when it's not faith-based. It's just, I just, you know, I like performing, I like acting, but it's got nothing to do with my faith. It's just what I like to do. So was that your first like kind of entry point into like performing?
Yeah, I was brought up Roman Catholic, so, you know, baptized and confirmed and all of that, and church on Sundays anyway, and then I was singing, and then St Chad's Cathedral were looking for new probationers, new treble voices. I must have been about 9, 10. And so I sang for them about 10, and then I got in, and I found my Sundays standing in the pews and singing Mozart and Haydn and Bruckner and, you know, all of it. And it really, because I loved the sound and those harmonies for the choral sound, and it's magical. But I remember one distinct memory I have is being on the front steps of the altar, and we were gathered there and we were going to sing, and I think it was Lottie's Crucifixus. It's a piece where the 4-part choir is split into 8 parts. I remember just standing there and singing this piece, which is beautiful, and seeing tears in the eyes of the congregation. But we weren't crying, we were just singing. They were crying listening to it. And it really, and I keep repeating this, but it really was the point where I thought there's something happening in the distance between what I'm doing and what they're hearing that's making them cry. And that really, I was like, how's that work?
Yeah.
And then I saw it with films, and I saw it with paintings and things, and I thought, how do they do that thing that... So film is basically moving shadows and noise. That's all it is, really. And there's 12 notes in the scale. There's 12 notes. But what we can do with it, if you have the skill, you can make people dance, you can make them sing, you can make them cry, you can make them think, I just thought this was a fantastic thing, and I wanted to get into it. And I was thinking about whether I was going to be a dancer or whether I was going to be a singer. And in the end, it settled down into acting, because I knew that I had a greater longevity. And I was only interested in sort of like the classical forms.
Okay.
Because it seemed to me that the non-classical forms at that time were much more about passing a moment and entertaining you for just passing that moment. But the classical forms were like, you can do this again and again, and then different people can come and they can do it again and again and again and again, and it will still speak, it will still say stuff. That interested me.
How did your mum take to it in terms of you wanting to pursue a career of acting at a young age? Because I know you was in Joseph in the Technicolor Dreamcoat in your primary school production.
Yeah.
So like, and I guess that's probably, looking at what you do now, but that's your entry point. Like your mum would have been probably quite pleased if that was the way in, because it still kind of goes back to church and the faith in some ways.
Yeah, it did in some way. And I think that by the time I was spending every summer at Midlands Arts Centre, just down there, dancing, acting, doing whatever the workshops were. And I think when she came to see a play that I was in, and then saw that I was doing, in the summers, I started doing walk-on work for Central Television in Birmingham. And so I didn't need summer pocket money, because actually I was earning enough during that period to sometimes I'll be like, you know what, I can take care of this. And it became a kind of, not only do you enjoy it, you're serious about it, you spend a lot of time doing it, but also it's obvious that reviewers have said, oh, this kid's kind of good. And I was beginning to, I could buy my trainers, I could do it. It became a kind of, I don't have to approve, I just have to stand back and make sure this continues along the correct path. And then by the time I was auditioning for drama school, then I got into drama school. In those days, thank God, you could get a grant. But it took something like 12 or 13 weeks for my grant to come through. So for that 12 or 13 weeks, my mom just wrote a check and, pay. And it's hard, but she paid for me for food and, the roof over my head and stuff.
Because your mum's from Jamaica as well, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And because I know, in terms of parents that come from, Jamaica, or like, I've got a lot of friends that are like West African, and to go into the arts is always a techie conversation, because I feel like we have parents and grandparents who came over here for a better life, and I guess they want us to have the jobs of being doctors, lawyers, accountants, engineers, and then telling them, you're like, well, I'm going to do this thing, and you're like, what do you mean you're going to do that thing? How does that pay? So it must have been quite fulfilling, I guess, for your mum to see like the proof in the pudding. The proof in the pudding quite early for your career, to see you making a living. And you said you done like walk-on work as well, right? Yeah. What was that like? It
was good. I got used a lot for Central Television because they didn't have somebody who was 16, 17 years old with an equity card.
Oh, wow.
So black teenagers in Birmingham with an equity card who could go and do walk-on work was few and far between. Okay. And one of the producers just said, I would love nothing more than to actually make it look like the public, but we have to use equity card holders. And a lot of those people at that time in the city seemed to be people who were 40 plus and white. Actors who'd go trained and all that. And so they couldn't actually find... So when I was like, yeah, I'm here, they were like, get in here. So I did the Crossroads, and then the next week I would do some other thing, and then I'd go up, maybe travel slightly outside of Birmingham to walk on work with something else. And then my pocket money was taken care of. It was good.
Because I remember when I never went to drama school. I done drama at a university. And I remember a teacher saying to us, it's like, she's like, if you want to be a serious actor, don't be doing extra work or walk-on work, because you won't get taken seriously. And it always stuck with me. But at the same time, it's like, well, I need an in somewhere. Do you know what I mean? So it's interesting to hear that from you, and that was like your route in some ways, because I guess when you're starting off in any industry, you're like, okay, cool, if I want to be taken seriously, not to do that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. But it was nice to go to drama school already having been on a stage of the theatre a lot with the youth theatre, but also had been on a film set, TV set. I knew how it worked, and knew where the lights and everything. I was kind of used to it, so I went to drama school with that knowledge.
What drama school did you go to? Did you go to RADA?
I went to RADA, yeah.
That's one of the top tier ones, man.
Yeah.
That one's top tier,
That one's up there with the others in that level.
So I went to university, right? And I remember meeting actors who went to Central, RADA, I think it's Lambda as well.
Lambda. Guildhall. They're kind of like
And my God, boy, when they're like, so where do you study? I'm like, boy, I'm doing university. Oh my God, the way they look down on me. Yeah.
See, that's not the drama schools. Those are just the idiots that you met.
I was like, right, boy. I think I always do have a regret, though, of not ever going to drama school, because I feel like once you understand the training that you get, like for me, once I understood it, I was like, I see why this institution exists, and you need to go there to get to that next level, if that makes sense. Because the training is intense, and I didn't understand it until I'd met like friends that had gone there, and they tell you that it's very intense. Even like the audition process.
Yeah.
What did you do for your audition process? Because I know you have to do a classical and a contemporary, right?
I did Angelo from Measure for Measure. I did a speech from Hamlet. They said don't do Hamlet because everyone does Hamlet.
Yeah, I've heard this, yeah.
So I thought, well, if everyone's doing Hamlet and they say don't do it, that means no one's going to be doing Hamlet. So I did Hamlet.
Okay.
Because I thought in a room in a year or three, like that year when you're auditioning for the class, you've told everyone don't do Hamlet. All these people want to get into drama school. They're not going to do Hamlet. So I thought, I'll just do Hamlet.
That's quite a big risk, man.
It is a risk. Yeah, it is a risk. But I also had Angelo to follow up.
Okay.
And I had a piece from a play called Dead Men by Mike Stott about the end of the Russian Revolution, a speech by a revolutionary. And then I had a song, and that was it, really.
So you moved to London when you go to RADA. It's like 1986, 87, right?
86, yeah.
So what was it like going from Birmingham then to London? Because when you're in drama school, and I know there's a lot of people that they go from one place and then they're all in London, where London is, you know, they always say, if you want to be successful in this thing, you know, especially at drama school, you want to be in London. How impactful was that move for you at that time in drama school and coming to London from Brown? Because there sometimes is, I feel like London and Birmingham, it's like we kind of had this weird love-hate relationship. Do you know what I mean? Like we both think we're better than each other for no reason.
No reason at all. I tell you, I love going home though. You know, I love going home to Birmingham because it's got everything that London's got, but not as much of it. And it's a much more sort of diverse sort of city. You go to any area, you'll see much more of a mix of all sorts of people. But coming to London for me at that time, it was student leaving home at 18 and going off to study. So I slept on a sofa for the first 8-9 weeks. And then my dad, who was living in London at the time, he then found me a room in a house, and then I got a little that progressed to another room in somebody else's house. Then and it just moved on from there. But I went from sofa to tiny room to slightly bigger room. I just did the whole.
Did you have a part-time job?
Thing. I was a waiter at one point. Came back to Birmingham and I was a waiter in Brannigan's on Broad Street, which was good. I loved waiting tables. You know. Yeah. I really liked it as that sort of entertaining service thing. And then, and I was for 2 weeks, I was a cleaner in an old people's home in London to get some money.
How important is those jobs though when you're a young actor? Because, you know, I've seen things in the past where, you know, someone can be in a huge production, you know, and they're well established in the industry and they have to have a part-time job. And everyone has I think there's like this illusion that it's like, but you can't, you're on television. How can you go back to doing this? Do you know what I mean? But I think those jobs early on, even before my comedy career took off, I worked in retail. Retail was my thing. Because I get what you're saying with being a waiter, because it feels like you're kind of still performing.
There's
somewhat.
A bit, yeah. There's
Do you
a
know
bit.
what I mean? Like,
the one-liners, the improvisation, and then they tell you the lines, the food they want. You go away remembering your lines, and you get it back, and you go, no, they want it hot. They want that with a bit more sugar. They want this, and you come back, and you can repeat it back to them. What people loved, I found, was like, can I have a vodka, but can I have it with orange juice? And can you just make it, and can I have something on the side? And when I brought it back to them, I'd say, that's vodka with a bit of orange juice. It's got the thing on the side, just as you like it. Okay, there you go. And they just loved the fact that you remembered you know, and that was the recall and stuff. I loved it. Yeah. Nice. So for retail, did you use the comedy in retail?
Same thing. Well, I think for me with retail, it was because I worked in really nice places early on. So I've spoke about it a few times. I worked in Joe Malone. I didn't really know much about the brand though when I first worked there. So for me working there, it was the scents and the smells, and I was almost a character. You know, people coming in and they'd be like, "So, what is this? This is orange. Is this orange blossom?" And I was like, "Yes, man, this is orange blossom." But with Joe Malone, do this thing called fragrance combining, right? So then this is where you're really acted now, because you were like, "Well, we do fragrance combining. So if you want to get a bit 154, spray it on there." And then I was like, "Cool." And then they smell it and they go, wow, and then, can you get the hint of the blossom? But then you're getting the 154 with the deep note of sage. Hey.
See, I'm about to go there now, man. You just did it on me. That's it. Hey, listen, I'm going Joe Malone after this.
I think people really forget of like when you are within whatever arts you're in. You know, for me, it was like at that time, still at uni, and I'm learning to do. I was doing theatre production and performing arts, but comedy was the thing that at that time I was like, really like this comedy thing. But it was so important to have that one, you know, you have a job that helps you pay, but it's weird, like you are acting, but you're not. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Like you're having to, like I'd code switch. I got guys coming in and they're like, Rob, like, what's this shot, bro? And I'm like, okay, this isn't the Orange Blossom customer. Do you know what I mean? It's like, yeah, what are you saying, bro?
Ain't gonna 1549.
This is a nice one, smart. Bro, that one's nice. You know, I like that one still. How much is this? I'm like,
there's a dial. There's a dial.
Yeah.
You go to 10 to 0.
But it's so quick how you have to switch it on, and you have the rude customer, the nice customer. But it's like you are acting, and I think you can always understand why anyone who is an actor, why they have a part-time job as a waiter, or especially things with people. I feel like it still makes you're still switched on, even though it's your job, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and you're providing a service. It's like when we went through COVID, certain things people could, quit or go on strike, and we'd go, But there are certain services we overlook all the time that interface directly with the public or help the public out in certain ways. When they went on strike or when they stopped, we all felt it. We all went, what way? We need that. We need that thing that we keep overlooking. Yeah, we need that. And when you can't provide a service, entertain the public if you don't interface with the public in some way. It's a good leveler. It's good to have that experience, to understand no matter what I do as an actor. If I'm doing something on stage and I bump into somebody afterwards on the street the next day, or somebody waits at stage door or whatever, my job is to provide that area of relief for someone who has a real job. So the firefighter's going to clock off work and it's like birthday, we're going out, we're going to have a meal, and then we're going to see that thing. We're going to go see Mo. So you've got a room full of people for whom you are the added bonus at the end of a long, hard day when they're dealing with all sorts of problems, all sorts of things. They want to be taken away and told a story. And I take that seriously, because I think, do your job right. Don't make it another excuse for people to pay and just get to look at you again. Look, people are looking at me and they've liked me on my thing and I don't care. That's why I find the social media thing quite difficult.
I don't blame you, bro.
I find it difficult. People have told me on occasion, you've got to do it, you've got to do more, you've got to do this. And I'm like, I can't. I just want to do my job properly. And I respect the fact that some people will have done a lot in their day. And then they will come and all I have to do is say, look, here's the story, here's the laugh, enjoy yourself.
How important is the stage to you as an actor? Because I have such admiration for like the stage theatre. I love don't get me wrong, I love sitting down watching a film, but there is something that I find so fascinating about watching actors on stage that I sit there and I'm just like, I'm like, oh my God, practice all those lines. That's a lot of lines. Especially someone where, I do stand up and someone can look at my job as like, this is crazy, you're making everyone
I could never do your job.
But the stage is like, I'm so in awe of it, because sometimes it blows my mind where I'm like, the matinee shows where I'm like, hold on, you got a show in the afternoon and one in the evening, and I still sit there. I'm like, especially if I've seen a show in the evening, I was like, oh my God, they probably had another one in the afternoon.
That was the second
one.
Must
be so tired, because I guess that what I mean by it is, as a comedian, I am a heightened version of myself, but I am really being myself. People pay to be like, I want you to make me laugh, but be yourself, making me laugh. Whereas, even sometimes I'll sit there and I'm like, okay, they're on stage and below them, there is an orchestra playing the music, but I can't even see them. And like, then when it comes to theatre production, how the sets can move, and then you lot will go back, and even the microphones, the ones that are there, you guys got those ones there. And I sit there, and for me in my job, it's like, okay, the microphone needs, the one thing always I need is just microphone and lights. That's it to make the show work. But the fact that if that microphone goes out, actors will have to say, okay, cool, I can say, like, I can be on stage as a comic and be like, mic's off, tech will come in, I can make a joke about it. But as an actor, it's like, cool, from the diaphragm, we go back to the drawing board, mic's off. It's so amazing what you do. So how important is the stage to you?
It's the one place we don't have to fear AI. Because if you're in the room and there's a stage there and it cuts out the wheat from the chaff. You know what I mean? It's like if you can't do it. If you can't do it, I don't care if I stick you on screen and we can take it again and go different angles and you look kind of good and you've been to the gym and you drunk nothing but water. I don't care, because if I put you on stage and you ain't got the muscles to make the audience believe that even though they're sat in a big room with surrounded by strangers and you're pretending to be somebody else, if you can't leap over all those barriers and still make them believe the story, then you're not cutting the mustard. Do you know what I mean? Like I've seen you get thrown by somebody in the room and get taken off story, and somebody tells you some information and you've recalled that person's name and you mixed it with this person and you've done that and you boom, 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 boom. And I'm looking at it going, wow, that's some skill.
Oh, big ups, man.
But you know that if you put the microphone in somebody who just wants to be looked at and has got one joke, you just put them up there like, mate, it's painful to watch, and I'm sure you've seen that a few times.
I've seen it a couple of times.
I bet you just go, you've lost them. And also other comedians who, you are doing a circuit and everything. You'll be sat there listening to them and you'll go, okay, that's there, but now you need to bring them back. And they're not tuned. They don't hear it. Then the quality of the laugh changes, and you go, okay, you need to get these people here back in the. There's a skill in all of that.
Is it when you're on stage with actors though? Because I spend my time on stage by myself, so it's just I've only got really me to rely on. But how hard is it when you're on stage and it's like you're saying you're working with an actor and you're like you need to have it, man, and. Is it a competitive sport? Because comedy is when you're on it's different if you're on a tour show, but if you're at the clubs, there is this togetherness, but we are also still competing. Yeah. It's just the nature of the sport, but I need whoever's going on before me to do well because the crowd are up. Because if they don't do well, it makes my job even harder.
Yeah, you gotta.
But there is this thing in stand-up where. It's like, oh, that's Mo. All right, cool. He does TV. So let's see how good you really are. Because when I go out, the crowd will, oh, Mo's here. Oh, my God, he's not even announced. So I have to prove it to the audience and to, some of the other comics that, I can still
because you have a reputation.
Yeah, it's still. How is that with acting on the stage?
Well, firstly, if you're on stage with people who are into the competitive sport thing, nightmare. Because you have to play as a team.
Yeah,
you can only be as good as the team. You might think of yourself as a star striker, but honestly, if the team ain't good, you're gonna lose.
Yeah,
and the whole production falls apart. Also, people who are brilliant defenders, they need star strikers at that moment. They need people to play their own position well, so that they know no goals are going past. I'm going to do my job well too, and then the whole team progresses. And that's what it's like with theatre, and it extends to stage management, director, musicians, everything. They've all got to be good, and they've all got to throw the ball back to you perfectly. You catch it, you throw it to the next person, and so the audience is watching the lines bounce and flip, and then laughing, and bam, 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 bam. Then that scene's over, and it's on to the next one. It's like everyone has to do their bit.
Yeah.
So if you're in competition with somebody on stage, nah, man, it's just life's too short, man. Just honestly. People who just want to get the laugh, because every laugh is a release of tension, as you know. You create a little bit of tension, and then you boom, and you pop it in the bubble, and everybody.
Especially when I've gone to theatre and something happens in the audience where on stage you guys can break the fourth wall and address something that might be going on, which is sometimes my favourite parts of going to a show, and it might be a real 18th century piece, like it's real. It's set in history. Do you know what I mean? It's Bridgerton kind of vibes.
Then you have to come and see what I'm doing next.
Yeah,
you have to come.
And a phone would go off.
Yeah,
and you see an actor be like, "This wouldn't have happened in this decade," and everyone laughs because it happened in that moment. But I always think yes, I find it funny as audience, but is there a part of you as an actor where you're like, bro, just please. Stick to what's going on, man.
I was on, but then a lot of people don't understand the theatre. So there was a group of kids in to see a show that I was doing.
Yeah,
bless them, and they were chatting, like excited and everything like that. But as you're doing the play, they think that you can't hear them because they're not used to the theatre.
Yeah.
They think that you're just going to carry on no matter what. And so you're up there and you're doing it. But the great thing is you hear people and then you say, no, I will not have that. Raw, did you see what he said? Because you can hear the person and oh no, he's going to do, oh, he picked it up. Like this, and you're thinking, I'm right here. I can hear, so can everybody else. You're not on your own. Yeah. I had one kid who was on the phone. It was like, and I feel, that was my, I feel that, well, perhaps I could, and I was like, what? Then I heard, yeah, no, I'm at the theatre. I'm watching it's not bad, you know? and I could hear this. I was thinking, no. Yeah. But yeah, sometimes you can incorporate it and improvise together. The worst bit is when you're doing a musical, because you're speaking, you're all in time and you're connecting everything. But as soon as the music starts, it's not like you can press pause and go start again or whatever. It's a live band. They're all in sync with each other. As soon as that music starts, you have to hit the first lyric. If you, for a moment, forget the word or the line, the music carries on. And then the line you have to remember is the 2 beats later, then 3, then 4, then a whole verse later you have to jump in. So that's the worst one. Once that music starts and you open your mouth to sing, not only you're told what to say and the pitch and when to say it, you're told when to breathe. The music will tell you when you can breathe, and you're just locked into it. So when you watch people do that and follow that system where they move on beat, they breathe on beat, if someone blink on beat, every word is enunciated on beat. But when you watch them, it looks like they just happen to be making it up at the time. Love that. Yeah, that's a real skill.
Yeah, I have a love for theatre, man. When I sit there, I got my popcorn that costs about £7, my ice cream that costs £12. But yeah, I love the theatre. I'm like, all the snacks, yeah. They love to see me coming, man. But let me get all the snacks, man.
Yeah. So you have to come Stratford.
Yeah. No, I really want to come, man.
It's a good one.
Yeah. So in 1995-96, you won the Laurence Olivier Award for Best Actor in a Musical Role in Company. What's it like though when you start you start receiving these awards where you're getting this industry recognition now? Because, I guess it's one thing to live out your dreams, to perform and, earn a living from it. But how does it start to change your mindset once you get recognized? Because
it's exactly what you were saying. People go, oh, right, so you now have a kind of reputation for being good, or you should know what you're doing. And it's slightly easier for you to get in the room, to get the opportunity to get the next job. And all of that comes with you. But what they're expecting to come with you is the same quality of work. And the Olivier Awards was a good lesson for me. I did Sweeney Todd at the National Theatre, and I was nominated for Best Supporting Actor in a Musical. And I thought, oh, wow, I got nominated. Maybe I could get this. And it was a big deal. It was like, wow, the Olivier Awards and so on. And I sat there and I didn't get it. And I was really deflated, but to be nominated, wow, it's really but I saw the person who did get it and heard the speech, and then I watched everybody else, get it and had the party and everything. And I thought, okay, yeah, well, because I saw the shows and I thought, that wasn't particularly the best in my opinion, but the work was good, so okay, it's an opinion. The next year comes along, we've done As You Like It again, I get nominated for Best Actor for playing Rosalind. I go along again going, okay, now I've been nominated again, second year in a row. So I sat there, okay, somebody else gets the award. I'm thinking, okay, that's great. But again, you see how it's people's opinions, and there's a bank of good, and people will be picked out of that. But everybody in that bank is good, as good as each other.
Yeah.
Then the third year in a row, now for Company, Best Actor in a Musical, I'm like, okay. I thought, this is a game now. Yeah. So I went along like, okay, and I said, and Adrian Lester, oh, shit, I got to get it. So even then when I got the award, I remembered the past 2 times and thought, this is an opinion out of a group of people who all deserve the recognition. Yeah. But it's only a small section of theatre in London, which is a small section of theatre in the whole country. There's work going on at the Citizens, at the Birmingham Rep, but there's brilliant actors all over the place. But because they're not in that particular area, they're not considered for the Olivier Awards. Yeah. So the reality of what exactly I was being picked as being the best in somebody's opinion out of dawned on me. And I thought, okay, humble, thanks, move on.
Because I think some people don't really realise how the nomination and just being in the room amongst people was like, I've kind of won, you know. The fact that I'm here and people just want to speak to me, and like I never really realised it until I think I went to the BAFTAs in 2019 and the Big Nasty Show was nominated. And just going there and you see everyone and you're on the red carpet, I was like, I don't know if we're going to win, but just being here, the fact that it's recognised and you're around these people. And I remember meeting Lenny Henry that day, and that it's those things that you kind of take. And the win is like really the bonus in a way. But I know what you mean about like when you go the second time and you don't win, you're like, okay, it was fun to go and have the day out the first time. Second time, you're like, I would like to win it now. And then you get to the third time, you're like, this is what I like to call playing the game, if that makes sense. Where you have to, I never really understood it until you go again and you're like, I ain't won. Why am I going to this thing? But you realise you have to keep playing what you say is play the game. You turn up, you know, you wear the suit, and it's when you don't expect it and you're like, oh, what, I won. I didn't think I was going to win.
But also you're supporting your fellow artists, your fellow performers, fellow writers, directors, and you know the TV. You're supporting that world as that world tries to support its own excellence.
Yes,
tries to say, look, we must always try to be excellent, and they're picking excellence out because it could so easily be about fodder and about crowd pleasing and about you know dumbing it all down and stuff. And they're going, no. Let's try and remember what we can possibly achieve if we do it right. And so they're always aiming at excellence. I've never been nominated for a BAFTA, let alone won one.
Right.
Yeah, in everything I've done, and I've been to the BAFTAs and handed things out, and it's great. But it's become one of my things. Like, do you know what? One of these days, I'd like to do something.
You've never been nominated.
No.
That's fucked, bro. Sorry to swear, but I was like, what the fuck?
No, but
man?
I've never. I'm like, you know, one day I'm going to actually get nominated. I want to get nominated for something. I just got to find something good enough.
Because we're going to get into your middle, right? And I'm looking at all your credentials here for your middle. Like, I remember first seeing you on my screen on Hustle, where you played Mikey Stone in Hustle. Hustle was so good. You were so cold in it, bro.
Cheers.
Like, you know what was mad about Hustle, right? I used to go youth club around this time, and in the youth club, I'll never forget. It was in a church in Coppleston Church. And they'd have the TV. The TV would always be on. And it would start around about 6:30, if I can remember. 6:30. 7 o'clock. 6:30, 7 o'clock. So most of us would go to our adventure playground, finish at 5:30. We'd go home, get changed. And we'd go to Coppleston Church on a Friday. Because remember, Hustle used to come on a Friday at around about 7 o'clock.
Yeah.
If I can remember rightly.
Thursday, Friday.
And we'd watch Simpsons. You know, you got home, you watch Simpsons. Fresh Prince of Bel-Air might come on 6:30. Then you're like, I've seen this episode of Fresh Prince. Make our way to the Coppleston Church. And I remember, I'd never forget this, where some of the people in the youth club wanted to watch Friends, which used to come on Channel 4 at 7. And some of the people wanted to watch Hustle. Yeah. And everyone was like, nah, man. No, bun that Friends, bro. Put this show on. This show is cold, bro. And I remember we was all watching it, and that was like my first time really seeing you on screen. But it was such a good show.
It was a good show.
Do people still come up to you in the street and still?
Yeah. That one. I mean, we finished it 13.
Yeah.
13 years
so
ago.
Cold,
it's not been
man.
on screen. But and it did the Netflix thing, and it did, you know. But
yeah.
I loved that show. That show was great. Good writing, good team of actors, good production. Kudos were great as a production company. I mean, just nice.
Because I felt like it was like Ocean's 11 before Ocean's 11. You know what I mean? I feel like they copy your thing. You know what I mean?
Well, it was before all of the sort of the wave of it came, like Focus and Hustle and American Hustle.
Yeah.
All of that. But it was really nice to do. Really entertaining. And Tony Jordan, the creator and lead writer, he just had a knack for knowing exactly how to hook an audience in, treat them like they were the sixth member of the gang.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was nice.
When you're on a show that's like that, like as like a primetime show, how does it start to change your career in some ways? Because you've gone from the stage, and I know you've done things before that and stuff. You know, you was Harry Burton in Primary Colours in 98?
Yeah, 98, yeah.
And you know, you had other things that you was in as well, you know, like Love's Labour's Lost in 2000 and The Day After Tomorrow 2004. There's a lot of things that you got, like your CV is stacked. Like, but like, what's the transition like for an actor from stage to screen? Because you was on screen before, and then you're on the stage. You know, when it comes to being on stage as a young actor going to RADA, and then, you know, then getting the attention of winning like an Olivier. So like, how does that start to change you as an actor? Because is there like a love for stage, or is there like screen's a bit different now? The audience say, I can't listen to someone talking now.
No, there's nobody going to answer their phone and go, yeah, I'm at the theatre. But I auditioned for Hostel because the producer, Jane Featherstone, at the time at Kudos, she'd seen me do company on stage, and she thought, I think that actor could play this role that we're thinking of. And I sat down with her and the other chief producer at the BBC. And I remember saying, well, how do you see, because Mickey Stone, you know, I thought, how do you see him? Do you see him as, and it was Albert's protege and so on. So I did it in an American accent. I did it in a British accent, but much more like Birmingham, like from a city, you could hear the city in him. I did it in the accent I used, which was like Oxford educated guy, put on that sort of thing. And I auditioned in those three accents and said, what do you feel works best? And in the end, they said, actually do that kind of Oxbridge kind of one. And I went, all right, well, we'll do that. And it was nice to play that role. It sort of, people hadn't heard of me or seen my work until then and be like, who's this guy? Yeah. Who's this actor? Yeah. So it was nice to do that and get that, tick that box.
So when you was in Hustle, talks start happening for like, big opportunities. Like, I don't know where you think I'm going to go here, but talks start happening now.
I don't know where you're going
for things like, James Bond, right? 007 and stuff. And there's that conversation of, maybe a black Bond. And I feel like, bro, like, if there was going to be a black Bond, listen, we've seen you in this thing. Listen, come on, man, right? So, like, did you ever hear any of that kind of news? Or
Yeah. Nothing official.
Yeah.
So nothing came from the Broccoli Entertainment, or I forget the major company, but nothing came from Barbara Broccoli. Nothing came from having those meetings with I think it was MGM. There were no meetings with me, but I heard the Daily Mirror say this. I heard the news say that.
Because they have the run-ins and you can bet and stuff like this.
All of that.
Yeah.
And it's a big secret. And I think even if you meet for the role, you have to sign an NDA before they tell you what the meeting is for, so that they can actually keep everything close to their chest.
Yeah.
But no, not none of that.
How hard is that for an actor though to stay focused? Because I've seen things in the press about my career of like, Mo's going to America and he might be doing this, and I'm like, yeah, I didn't have that conversation, but
yeah,
that might change the generational history of my life, generational wealth.
Yeah.
How is it for an actor? Because I've got friends that are actors, and there are those roles that they say, I'm doing I've just done a self-tape for this, and I've got this coming, but if that was to come through, how is that for an actor? Because I guess I'm lucky enough to be in a position where it's like stand-up is my go-to. It's the thing I always love. I'm always in control of it.
Yes, you're in control. That's
And
the main
I
thing.
guess for an actor, it's always based on so many different things. Like I've done self takes for things and stuff, and I've always like, oh, this will be great. And I do think in the back of my head, I'm like, right, if I get that, that'll be insane. How is it for an actor? Because, you know, you're always relying on so many different opinions, and there might be times where, you know, I've had previous actors on here before, and they're like, yeah, like sometimes you're just in holding and you don't know, and you might sign something, and then last minute they pick someone else, and you don't even realize. What stress does that put on an actor's mental health? Because I guess knowing that you can only go in and do your best, but it could still be someone else's choice, must be quite hard as something to, I don't know.
You never have the power. You never have power, and that's it's quite hard. People will treat you nicely based on your reputation, or, you know, you're going to do that appearance or this or whatever, so you get treated nicely for those things. But when it comes to you trying to get the work that you want that matters, you never have power. And the act of presenting yourself in front of strangers to attempt to show them your choices over the material they have is demoralizing, because you walk away and just, it's in their hands. And I've become, as I've got older, I've become acutely aware of that power structure and what that, I've watched other actors and what that can do to them. And I've thought to myself, maybe there's a different way of doing things. For myself personally, I'm starting to go, well, I've done enough things where I've been trying to please, maybe it's just my age, trying to please people with this stuff. I'm now going to just do what I really am passionate about and just go for those things. But constantly walking into rooms, meeting very nice people, this is the job, who will look you up and down, and part of their decision-making process is, how popular is this person on, I don't know, on social media, or are they known in this arena, this region? How will they look next to our lead? How will they? It's just, it is demoralizing. And then added to that, someone like me, I am not the one thing all the time, because I consider that to be part of my craft. If I'm in something, you don't know whether I'm going to have American accent, British accent, regional accent. You don't know whether I'm going to be a murderer, evil, good, whether I'm going to sing or not, whether it's going to be classical or modern. You don't know, because I can choose from any one of those things. It actually makes it harder for people to choose me for something where they know exactly what I'm going to be like.
Yeah.
Because it says Adrian Lester on the tin, but you don't know what flavour's going to be inside this particular production. There are a lot of actors who, no matter what they're in, they will have the same mannerisms, same accent, same kind of approach to drama and moments and beats, because that's just what they do. And that's, you know, good luck to them, that's great, but that's not what I particularly like. And so therefore what I do is not as easy to box inside an amalgam of things that you want to create.
Yeah.
So it's kind of hard, but it's what makes me tick. It's why I love the job, so I'm sticking to that formula. But it must be hard. You must have done some pretty big auditions, things you probably can't tell people about.
Bro, listen.
I was just about to say something, and I auditioned for this, I didn't get it, but I thought, no, what's the point? don't say it. I bet you've done some. I bet it's like, Mo, it's time for your movie, man. It's time for your main.
Yeah.
I bet some scripts have come your way as well.
Some lovely scripts, man. You know, I've also been very. I'm very much a realist in terms of, I know why I'm getting this email to do this self-tape. I understand my stock is hot, and I know that I haven't kind of dipped my toe within the field of acting and on screen as such. And I would love to, you know, if the right role came. But I think that's where I'm at as a position of like, it's got to be the right role. I feel like doing something because it's typecast and it's like, oh, like, you're really funny. We've got this funny role. And I'm just like, look, there's probably an actor who really wants this so much more. And if I'm on tour and I know my head is tunnel vision, I've got the blinkers on for creating this tour, and then I've got to work into a TV show, I'm not going to give you the energy and the love that I need for this role.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's where I've always looked at acting from a place of, there's someone else that really wants this more than me.
Mm-hmm.
And you must give that thing to that person, as opposed to, yeah, I'll do it, that'll be great, and that's another thing I can tell people about.
No.
But some cool stuff, man.
It affects your brand as well, because if somebody says, "Oh, Mo's in this," you go, "Oh, right, let's watch." And if you're having a bad day, people will judge you and how you are in that thing as being your best. And they'll go, "Oh, that's what he's like. He's not that funny, you know." I didn't like him. Yeah, and he's a bit. That's it. And you could be having a terrible day with a terrible script and but people don't care. People will just go, that's the pinnacle of what you can achieve on screen. So I've had some auditions with people where, and this is just me, man, I'm always trying to protect the future person that I want to be. I've had some auditions with people where I've just come out of the audition and I've called my agent and I've just said, nah. I really wanted the job.
That's very powerful.
But in meeting them and seeing how they look at me and how they, yeah, we were thinking maybe you could, can you do, yeah, we were thinking, and can you, and they just look at you like a thing. And I thought, I'm going to be with you for 4 months?
Yeah.
Doing my best for you. And this is what you're like? I'll hate it. And if I hate it, I'm not going to do my best work. And if I don't do my best work, that is going to affect me more than getting paid for your job. So I've called my agent and I've gone, no. I said, I don't care what they say after this, whether they come back positive or not, I am not doing this job.
That's powerful, man.
And then I go on to something else.
That's probably like knowing your power as well.
Your only power is to say no. And sometimes how hard you work as a comedian, how hard you work with everything that you're tapped into. Some people creating some projects, they actually don't deserve that amount of hard work and commitment. So when you say that job isn't for me, you go, you know what, give that to somebody else. It's like with everything that's going on in my life, to cut out that piece and say, I'm going to give all my energy to you and your project, it's not worth it. I can see it's not worth it. I can see what you're about. Yeah. So actually, it's best that we don't do this because you're going to have an unhappy actor on your hands. And that's, I don't want that. Yeah. So, go for it. Good luck, but it's not me. I'm going to go over here.
Yeah. You say going over here. There's a lot of black actors now that are going over to the States, and, there's a lot of British black actors that are finding success. How has your experience been in terms of going over to America? Because I hear it's quite, obviously it's hit and miss, and I know what it's like when you go to LA. There's the stat I think is crazy of like 100,000 people every year go to LA and 100,000 people leave every year. Do you know what I mean? From all around the world, all around America, everyone goes there to make it. What's your experience been like when you've gone over to that side of the place?
I have been back and forth over there to audition for things. I've done things over there, did Girlfriends over there, the sitcom. I done some stuff in New York, and I filmed Primary Colours in LA and New York. And when I did Primary Colours, this was before the trend of people going over. I remember going into meetings after I played this lead role in a film, and I'd go into meetings and I'd talk like myself. And these casting directors and producers, I met a lot of people. They looked at me like, what? It was unheard of. They were kind of go, hi.
Yeah.
Are I'm British. Right, of course, yes. Great. Please have a seat. And they just couldn't compute that they thought they were going to meet Henry Burton. They thought that, and I was there in my baseball cap, my t-shirt, and just like, yeah, it's great to be here. This is fantastic. God, it's hot. How did you cope with it? And they're going, this person's different. Henry, I had to create the kind of persona that if you closed your eyes and listened to him as a young black American, you couldn't tell what his racial identity was.
Oh, wow.
So with my accent, it was quite like that. And I wanted it to stay there. And it was, and so with that accent, it was kind of like he's a real preppy, nerdy guy underneath it all. His political awareness is off the charts, but you couldn't quite tell which is why Billy Bob Thornton's character says, "Man, I'm blacker than you are. I'm from the South. I'm blacker than you are." And that kind of thing had to work. But so as I walked into the offices, they would think, "Oh, this is not the person we saw on screen." No, because I'm an actor. But it didn't compute. And I hung around for a bit. Then I came home and I was unemployed for a year before I got a job with Lenny James doing Storm Damage, and with Ashley Walters and Ashley Madikwe and so on, the gang. And it was, and I've been back, but it's never quite worked. I've always gone back for a week, or I've gone back for 2 weeks. I can't go back and just sit there for months like some people do. I've always gone back, and then there's been a theatre job, or it's been a TV thing, and I've just come home, done some work, maybe gone back, and so it's never quite worked. Maybe it will one day, but
because I think with like now, I think especially even when I go out there, probably 90% of the people I know out there are actors, predominantly Black British actors, and some people working behind the screen as well that are seeing success there. But it's so interesting to understand what the landscape is there from someone that has had your CV is very extensive, but also it's like you've done your stage, you're on the screen, and when you go over there, I think sometimes there is this perception of like, oh, like everyone's successful and everyone wants to live out there who's from the UK. But there is also a lot of us who's like, it's good to work here, but it's also great to come back. Did you find it harder when you came back because you've kind of gone over there and you've had some success over there? Because you said you didn't work for a year. Was that down to you? I don't know. I feel like sometimes if you go over there is this, oh yeah, he lives out there now, he's not.
There was that. Some people said, well, you still here?
Yeah.
When I'm cycling my bike through Clapham and I stop at a red light.
Yeah.
People look at me like, wait. I was like, oh, hiya. You that guy from Russell? I said, yeah. You live here? Firstly, what are you doing on a bike? Where's your car? Like, I've cycled because I believe in green issues. But then they're like, you live here? Like, and especially around where I live, going down the road and just getting my shopping, or buying a first night gift for a friend and popping into a shop, or if somebody bumps into me, the amount of people who've just gone, what are you doing around here? And I say, I live around here. You live it like here isn't worth anything.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? That kind of weird thing of you should be over there like doing the glamorous. No. I live here. This is the Southeast. Like, this is where I live. This is, my kids went to school over there. This is where it's a strange thing. But coming back, going back to what your question was, I was unemployed for a while because I'd just done this lead role in a Universal Studios movie, playing opposite John Travolta and Emma Thompson and Kathy Bates and Billy Bob Thornton and Maura Tierney and Larry Hagman, and it was great to do. I come home, and because it hadn't come out yet, and we're talking 1997 now, so let's take all of our awareness and just rewind it a couple of decades. We're talking 97, and I was just around as a young actor going, I've just done this thing. I can't audition for 2 scenes in a detective drama where I'm like I can't. I've got to hold on and wait for some of this to actually trickle through, and it didn't. And then I did Storm Damage, and then things started to trickle through, and I did a spate of independent British films.
Yeah. That must be quite hard for an actor, knowing they're like, bro, I've got something cooking. It's going to come out next year, but I'm broke right now. But
because
I don't think a lot of audiences know that things can be made so far in advance. And it's like, when does that film come out? 2027. And you're like, it's 2025 now. But I think sometimes the perception when you're on the red carpet and you're doing all the press and you're like, I think sometimes people think that like, oh yeah, all these actors are mates. And they're like, they haven't seen each other for 2 years. Now they got to be friends on the red carpet.
Yeah.
Knowing that you're like, doing this press run has now meant that I can't do this other job because I have to, I've signed up for this thing. And I haven't even watched the film. I've not even seen it yet.
Yeah. I remember being invited back out to a place to see a film, to do the press for a film that I hadn't even seen, and to come and attend, do all the photographs and all of that for a thing and I didn't know what it was like. You know, so that can happen too.
That's mad.
But also the ups and downs of it, I think it's very important to always go back to something that you can control, that you have got a handle on. Like if you're in the middle of projects or if they stall for a bit, you can go do a club.
Yeah.
You can just go, do you know what, I've got this couple of ideas. Let me see if I can tie something around it for a 15-minute set and just go and do a club. And you'll go and you'll test the material and you might just improvise off something and think, you know what, that was good. I like that bit. I'm going to hold that in my head for later on. You can always self-develop and do something. As an actor, if you're not getting the work, you can't. So for me, it's always been martial arts. I've always gone to a place where I can practice, do my thing, improve at something that's got nothing to do with the industry. And you know what? If you break the brick, you break the brick. It's not someone's opinion of whether you broke the brick or not, and you don't get the award. You get the belt because you know the form. If you know the form, it doesn't matter how high you are, what your weight is, what you look like, where your parents are from. It doesn't matter. If you know the form when you break the brick, you get the belt. And that kind of clarity, that logic of progression is the right antidote for an industry like mine that can be sometimes quite arbitrary and, you know, opaque when it comes to making choices.
It must be quite nice because people are judging you not on, oh, you're an actor. They're almost judging you on like, oh, I like your form, man. I like the way you done that.
It's just that. Yeah.
And have conversations that have nothing to do with the job that I do, because 90% of my time will be with, you know, with where you're on set and you're talking to actors and directors and scenes, and then that 10% is like, I'm at home, I've got zone in, family life, what's going on, like you're saying, going down the shop and getting your things, and that's your escapism. But then having that part of your life that's so crucial of like, I do this other thing that some people don't even know that I do. And the people I talk to about it are the people that know me for just doing this thing. I took that with MMA fighting, and it's so fun, man. Like hitting, like perfecting my form of hitting the bag is like, where like, you know, 9 times out of 10 I'm like, that joke was good, this, that, was that. Where now I'm like getting people like, yeah, like the way you swing it is, I've never seen that. You know, I was doing some stuff recently on it with a weighted vest on, and people was like, it's really good, man, because like you're putting the weight on your standing leg, but the way you kicking it is like, you know, you're really shoving it in. That's really, yeah. And I'm like, you don't know me as Mo Gilligan.
Yeah.
It's so fun, man. It's so fun, man.
It does reset that other side of your head that just goes, I don't know, when you asked earlier about mental health and not being in control and all of that, it's not that you have to learn to hit people to be in control, but the fact that you can progress at something that's got nothing to do with that. You can, I remember talking to an actress, famous actress in LA, she was in between work, and she'd bought a harp and she was learning to play the harp. She was just learning something new and acquiring something new that had nothing to do with how people were going to see her, or actors that paint, or that will write music, or they'll just do something that's got nothing to do with, I can't wait for your judgment of me to be positive enough for me to get a job. Yeah. Because that's toxic. You have to do something else, do something else, do something else, do something else. And while you're in that environment as well, it's very, how you're regarded by like all the people that you work with, you know, the team and everything like that, how the team place you, how they work, that has to be seamless. It's quite interesting to listening to Kevin Hart as well talk about how the team, they just have to work like everything, no egos, no put downs, no nothing. It's just, we're all about this one thing because there's enough stuff dragging you back to
Yeah. So within your career, as much as you get your plaudits for being an actor as well, you get invited to Buckingham Palace. What experience was that like? Because I've been to Buckingham Palace. I got to meet King Charles, and I took my mum with me. And boy, let me say something. When I was outside, I hired a really nice car as well. And it was really for my mum as well. I was like, come on, man, let's have a good day out. But sitting outside and I seeing all the tourists outside, they're like, who's that? And the police check it over and then you go in. I was like, yo, listen, man, I think I've made it. You know? How is it like for you? Because you got do you have a CBE?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What was that experience like? Your mum must have been so proud, man.
Mom, it's one of those things you accept because you know what mom's going to be like. But the added gloss on that was I was there for a concert where I read, you know, and it was about Shakespeare being turned into opera. And so Daniel Denise was there and some other opera singers and Bryn Terfel was there and they were singing and I was reading and I sang a little thing next to them. Oh my God. Anyway, I did that thing. And after that event, I was getting my coat and you meet the staff who are lovely.
Oh, the staff are so nice.
Staff are so nice.
They're so nice.
And they're like, hello, how are you doing? Yeah. Hello, come this way. It's like this. And you're walking down these big corridors. You're like, what the hell? So, and it takes you a moment before you realize this is a representation of part of what we've given, not we as in black people, but we as a country. What we've done for the country has allowed the country to be able to reach a height that has managed. So in a way, you sort of take slight ownership of, I put into this too. Do you know what I mean? It's not just about them. It's a symbol of what the country's achieved. Anyway, so I'm walking down these corridors and looking. It's like a art gallery. Oh, so I get my stuff and I leave. Then I come back because there's another event. Oh, I attend an event. So I'm just as an actor attending this event, walking around. There's staff there. So when I come back for the OBE, it's about a month later. Just cherry on the cake. I'm walking in with my mum. And as I'm going up the stairs, and I'm there with my mum, and I walk these big red stairs at the front. Yeah. There's the guy at the top. Yeah. He goes, hello, Adrian. How are you? And I went, I'm fine. He said, well, you know where everything is, don't you know? Do you want to put your coat in? I went, no, I'll keep it on. He said, well, you know where you're going. Hello, is this your mother? I said, this is my mum. Hello. And he's all in the livery, you know. My mum was like, bruh. Walk into Buckingham Palace and they know you're there. I was like, wait, did they know you? I was like, yeah. It was me and my ex-wife, my mum and my father-in-law just walking in. I was like, this was good.
Yeah. Yeah, the staff are lovely, man. I was so filming in there, and you're not allowed to film. I was like, I got to come out with something, man. No one will believe I've ever been, man. So I started filming in there, and I'm like, oh, you know, I'm like trying to get a sneaky film. And then one guy was like, he come up to me, he was like, excuse me, sir, please, no filming in the royal house. And I was like, oh, bro, I'm so sorry, man. I just wanted to just capture a little something in it. He goes, no, it's okay. Big fan. See you on Gogglebox. Like, please, no filming. I said, oh, big up, my guy, man. Appreciate you, man. I lost myself. I was about to spot him. I was like,
don't touch the staff.
Thank you. But yeah, man, it must be quite an honor though to like start receiving things for like just like your work. Do you know what I mean? As much as like you get them for like things where it's like you're in a category and you know you might win, you might not, but like. When you're able to take your mum to those things, which is like, oh, right, you can like look back and like say, oh, okay, right.
Yeah. Like, I was talking, the real honour, yes, you meet members of the royal family and they will confer this honour upon you, but the real honour for me is being in a line of the 2012 Olympic athletes who were receiving awards as well. Standing behind, and I hope by some point she gets to listen to this, standing behind the couple who had fostered 36 children, 36 teenagers, and I think they were from Leicester or Leeds, I'm not sure where, and they were getting an award. Standing in front of a woman who was a care worker who her whole team had said, this woman has to be acknowledged for going above and beyond the call of duty in her profession, so much so that it benefits the country. And that's what the conversation was. It was, you're in your profession, you get paid, and that's fine. But when you go above and beyond the call of duty, you get promoted, and that's fine. But if you go further to the point where you are a credit to the nation, and we are proud as, you know, for what you've done, then the royal family, as symbols of that nation, will give you an honour on behalf of the nation. And it's that system, however it's called, however it goes, whatever the name of it is, it's that system that is being honoured by your presence. And so with the legacy that I have, I thought, yeah, I'm not refusing my place in any room. I'll be a part of that room because everything that has been achieved by this country has come through my legacy too. Yeah. So I just thought, yeah, And there's all sorts of conversations about should you, shouldn't you, and for me, I'm like, no. My presence there, my lack of presence keeps it the same. My presence inside that room changes it slightly. So that's
very powerful, man. Speaking of powerful, you're back on stage, man. Back with RSC. I know you had some auditions and stuff today as well. How is the RSC? Because I know
I've never worked there before.
This your first time?
This is my first time.
Really?
Yeah.
I know the RSC is not a joke, innit? Like I had a friend of mine who he writes. I write with him actually. He's one of my writers that I work with, and he has told me how privileged it is to be even part of the RSC. But it's like, yeah, bro, this is like for stage. This is the real, like, you've joined the Avengers basically, innit? This is the real stuff. For anyone who's listening who might not understand like the RSC and what it really is and what it really means, and just for you to be part of it, it's just your first time. How could you explain it for anyone? Because you're going to be there. You're there on the 27th of September to the 15th of November, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's when it runs from, and we have official opening night on the 7th of October. So if you come on the 27th of October to the 27th of September to the 7th of October, you're watching previews, so please be kind. But being part of it, I mean, I haven't like gone up there and performed there until I've seen friends there, but it's holding a legacy, and it prides itself, whoever the artistic directors are, it prides itself on excellence of theatre, which means it needs an excellence of actor. And I remember Nick Heitner, on behalf of the National Theatre, when he ran it, going to drama schools and saying, I can put whatever play I like on the National Theatre stage, but if I haven't got the performers who can handle it, if I don't have stage animals, and by that I mean really grounded, in touch with their emotions, powerful voice, intellectually capable animals on stage, I can't do those plays. And the RSC is a company full of those animals. Everybody there works hard, doing stuff now that I don't even know if I can get through one performance of, let alone do two in one day. We're still putting it together. I'll get there, but it's tough. It's tough. You can't muck about. You can't be, if you haven't got the voice, you ain't got the power, you ain't got the stance, you ain't got the presence, you haven't got the ability to repeat and repeat and repeat and repeat and repeat, you're not going to cut it.
Yeah. And for anyone listening, it's the Royal Shakespeare Company.
Yes.
Because I don't know anyone being like, what's this RSC?
What's this Rusk?
What's this? Yeah, what's this, bruv? How does it feel now, like where you are in your career now, where you are part of the RSC and you're going to be performing there, in the next couple of weeks? Do you still feel like you have a hunger for it? Because, of course, to wake up every morning, we all have a hunger for what we love to do. But with this being your first time, how does the hunger change? Does that make sense? Do you know what I mean? Sometimes you can be like, go in the fridge and like, wasn't actually hungry for anything, but you might see something you're like, oh, hang on a minute. That oxhead and rice, though, I'll eat that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
How does your hunger change now as an actor, where you are part of the RSC and it's your first time? Is it like, I have to really now prove my credentials, or is it like, oh my God, I've waited here so long, like, where was the call 10 years ago? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. It's not that there hasn't been the opportunity before, it's not that I haven't been asked before or talked to the various artistic directors about some plays I might want to do. That's come up before. It's just never been the right timetable to get things right. I mean, Hustle, for instance, cut out 8 years worth of summers. They were just, there was no point because we were filming. But it's the first time everything's come together with the right play, the right director, the right timing, so that's why this is working. But there is, it's a lead role. There is an onus on me to come up with the goods. In many ways, if I'm under par and I'm not up for it and I'm having a really, really bad night, it will be a bad show. because I have to do so much in it to make it work.
Yeah.
And the other actors, as brilliant as they all are, and it's just the arrangement of the material, the particular arrangement of this show, as brilliant as they are, it's my responsibility to join those elements of brilliance up inside a plot that is centered around my character.
Yeah.
And there's 2 other characters as well. So you have that weight where you go, do you know what? I have to also live up to the commitment to you lot of hard and all your hard work. And that's challenging. And so when you were talking about the oxtail in the fridge, it's that feeling of, I wonder what that tastes like. I wonder if I could cook that. I wonder if I could. It's the challenge.
Yeah.
It's the challenge. And so parts interest me now. Parts that I think, I wonder if I could do that. And so I'm testing myself. So yeah.
There must be a nice place to be in though, like as an actor, where you're like, oh, I want to challenge myself with this one. Like, I feel like as an actor, you probably have that with every role that you look at, but definitely looking at roles where you're like, oh, I could have done this time, but I still have the hunger and desire to want to do it for the challenge of it, not for the, it looks good on the CV. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know?
It's a privileged position to be in. I mean, and I'm guessing you're in the same place in the different sort of lane of performance and art, but it's a privileged position to be in because I am stepping back for a moment and choosing, and being able to choose is a privilege, and I accept that and I wear that. I don't wear that lightly. And so the RSC agreeing, okay, yeah, you've got this idea. Yes, it's with Simon Evans. Yes, it's with Deborah Stevenson. We are going to give you the space to go for it. What do you think? That's a privilege. And so I'm going to bring my old Jamaican work ethic to it as always, and just be like, do you know what? I'm head down. I'm steaming through this. This is, man. Let's do it. Let's go.
How do you start to look at your end in some ways where I feel like, and this is just my opinion when it comes with actors, I feel like actors are really in that beautiful peak when, you know, if they spend their early, let's say 20s, maybe 30s of stage, theatre, film, and you get to have a nice, like even for myself as a comedian, I feel like my favourite comics are the comics where they are like 50, 60 years old and they have so much that you watch them and you're like, oh, wow. I remember seeing Seinfeld for the first time and I'd never seen him and I was like...
Doing stand-up.
Yeah, I get it. I never got it before because I never really watched the show, but when I seen him live, I was like, I get it. I seen Dave Chappelle in LA and he just popped in and I love Dave. I've seen him, but seeing him live and you're like, okay, this isn't even a show that's going to be on TV. This is just you trying stuff and you're like, you're at that beautiful stage of, you know, if we look at football terms, you know, like when they say a footballer, he's at his peak, 28 to 30, he's in his best era. Where do you look at like your legacy now? Because you spoke about a little bit before with like the CBE, but you know, when you're at a position where you're at, where, you know, you're having the opportunity to choose what you want to do, the roles you want to do, what you want to wake up for in the morning, and you're someone where I could imagine there's young actors that are working alongside you that they're like, I really want to impress Adrian Lester if I'm on stage with him or if I'm on screen with him. Where do you start to look at your own legacy in some ways?
I think that I've learned recently that it's best to be happy with what you do yourself for your own development and not pretend that you don't have the power, you don't have the wherewithal, you don't have the acumen or the ability. And as well as waiting for other people to give you the job, the opportunity, you can also sometimes wait for other people to give you permission. And lately I've stopped doing that. I've stopped waiting for some sort of reflection to tell me who I am or gender self-worth. So with that in mind, in terms of legacy, I would love to have one. And when it is looked at, if anybody does, later on go, oh, that was good, or that was good, or that was good, I want to make sure they're things I'm proud of.
Mm.
So whatever it may be and however I might do it, I'm giving myself permission and not waiting for someone else's approval. And that's brought about a big shift in my psyche. So yeah, I'm doing that much more now. And as it goes toward the end, like you mentioned, what you do in between jobs, and I remember Sidney Poitier in between doing major films was washing dishes rather than do the jobs that were around for him to do at that time. And he just went, no. And he is Sidney Poitier because of the work that he did. But if he'd pulled on other work and did other roles that were around at the time, he wouldn't be Sidney Poitier. So it's the measure of, it's an equation of everything you've done and everything, be it 5 years in between or 2 years in between or whatever. Every project makes up your legacy, and I want to make sure that my legacy's good. I want to be proud when I sit back at the end and go, oh yeah, I did that. I did that. I managed to get that done as well. Like, yeah. I want it to be a series of things that I can smile about, rather than go, ooh, let's put that one away.
Delete that one from IMDb.
Yeah, it's just that, really. It's just wanting to make sure you do good stuff. And I'm sure, like, I would love to see what's waiting for you be the thing that happens. And having that waiting there, knowing that that's in the future somewhere, it's exciting, because actually all you're doing is trekking a path to that. I'm still the little kid who wants to be a Jedi.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I'm still that little kid.
It's true. I think all of our dreams, when we get into, the whatever you want to call it, the industry or whatever it is always looking back at, like, I always look back at the first thing that used to excite me, of like going to a show and being like, wow, people paid to come and see me. And I think I always hold on to that so dearly, whether it's 20 people or 20,000. I'll sit there and I'm like, oh my God, people paid to come and see. That's all I used to care about. Going to Edinburgh, give them a flyer. Oh, wow, they actually came. They put £4 in the bucket. And I think holding on to that, as much as, you have your highs and your lows and whatnot, having that feeling of like, oh my God, they used their time and they want to see me and they laughed, is like the most precious, innocent feeling that goes back to the 19-year-old Mo when he first started doing comedy.
There's that kid, yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But Adrian, man, it's been such a pleasure to have you on the pod. I'm so glad we was able to make this happen. But I think for so many young actors out there, and not even young actors, I think just actors listening to this, your journey is so inspiring, and it's so inspiring even for me, from a standpoint of having a teacher tell me, you don't want to be doing walk on, you don't want to be doing an extra role, and because you won't get taken seriously. Well, I feel like you are definitely proof in the pudding for that, because there will be a young Adrian Lester listening to this right now who has got someone in his ear saying, bro, you don't want to be doing that walk-on thing, bro. You need to be front. You need to be Duchesne in Top Boy. That's you. But your work shows so much more than that, where it is the spaces that you occupy, but also how important the stage is, how important the screen is, but also what it means to be an actor, to know that you're like, yeah, like I value who I am when I go into that audition room, to know that I don't know if this is right for me. I don't know if you're the right person that I need to work with. And I don't think as many people know how powerful it is to say no and saying yes. And I feel like you're kind of like the epitome of that in some ways. So from the bottom of my heart, thank you so much for coming on the podcast, bro.
Thank you, man.
I
Thank
really,
you for what you
really
said
appreciate it, man.
Thank you.
And I'm going to try my best to come up to
Please.
Stratford-upon-Avon.
When you were talking about it, I thought, I think he'd like it, actually.
No, I would probably like it, man. Listen, if they got that £12 ice cream and the £4 kettle chips, listen,
I'll make
the
sure they have some.
There, you know?
That £20 beer.
You might hear me munching. But no, man, this has been your beginning, middle, and end. Thank you very much, bro.
Thank you.
Appreciate you, man. Appreciate
Thanks,
you,
bro.
man.
Thank you.
Hey, what's up? Thank you so much for listening to the podcast today. Now, a lot goes into making each episode. I know you hear my voice, but there's a team behind the scenes who help make it. And if you did enjoy it, I'd really, really appreciate if you could show the love to them by giving us 5 stars. And if you also have the time, please leave us a review. It's always appreciated, and we love reading the comments. And of course, we want to keep making it better. Thank you for listening, and have a great day. Peace.